Welcome back to another edition of Babes with Books. We are here to talk to you tonight about our best picks from 2018 / what should you put on your Christmas list. It's time to start thinking about that. So I am here with Shauna and Maya. My name's Leslie, and we're here at Pandora's Books, and we're going to talk to you about books tonight. I'm super excited.
Me too.
Yeah.
Always.
So I don't know. How do you guys want to do this? I have like so many things to talk about. So
well, yeah, exactly.
I know. I tried to limit myself, so I'm hoping.
All right.
Okay.
So
why don't we just all do one and one and one, and then we can kind of go through our list that way. Okay. I will do my first one. My first one is actually one I'm going to be purchasing for someone on my Christmas list. It is by Robert MacFarlane, and actually the reason I was attracted to this first was because the artist that's doing this book is called Jackie Morris, and I have some of her other books. She does, she illustrates and writes picture books. And this book that they put out is called Lost Words. It's a really interesting sounding book, and they said that they have taken the magic of word and paint to celebrate the wonder and importance of everyday nature. The basis of this book is that somebody in 2007 went through the dictionary for kids, an Oxford Illustrated Children's Dictionary, and discovered a missing 40 common words. Some examples of those: dandelion, acorn, otter, and raven. Wow. So since this 2007 discovery, there's been kind of this big uproar about why are we taking words out of the book, and why are we taking especially common words out of the book, and inserting, of course, a lot of people don't like that we're putting in these modern technology-based slang type words. It's not the part that bugs me. I mean, it just seems strange that you're eliminating something that still grows by the 100-fold in my yard every year, and yet a child cannot necessarily look it up. I'm mostly really tempted by the artwork. I really, like I said before, Jackie Morris, I've enjoyed her work in the past. But since the book first caught my eye, it came in and I thought, oh, that looks beautiful. It looks lovely. That's definitely something that I would want. I've seen it written up in a few places. So, and it's supposed to be just really quite captivating, really quite mesmerizing. And I have someone on my Christmas list who loves words and grammar. So it's going to come into my house, and I'm really excited about it. Is this a fiction
or a nonfiction?
It's a nonfiction. It's a juvenile nonfiction. But I have read, in an article I read, so it's been in the paper. I saw it featured in a magazine, actually, in a magazine's Christmas gift guide, after I'd already kind of fallen in love with it. So it's kind of catching a lot of waves for anybody on your list. Anybody who likes nature, anybody who likes art, anybody who likes words. So I think it's one of those good gifts for
all you book lovers out there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what
word lovers.
This is my like book lovers gift kind of thing. One of those books that would go on someone's shelf and they would love to look at. And I've heard that it's I've seen it as well. It's quite mesmerizing in both the art and this approach to these things that are a part of our everyday life and yet disappearing.
So do you guys put books on your Christmas list? So do you guys, speaking of getting gifts as books for the book lovers, is that something you guys, I'm just asking, it's kind of like a Ziff question, but are books like?
Everyone in my house gets a book.
Yeah,
but multiple. So not a book, I don't think usually.
I always ask for a chapter's gift card, always.
Okay.
You don't trust the other people to pick your books up for you?
And then the funny thing is, actually, at work, for the past, this will be the third year, hopefully they did the same thing for me. They give out, the administration, principal and vice principal, go and pick a book for each person.
Okay.
And they get pretty much exactly what that person wanted.
That's fun.
It's really, really cool. Yeah. And we all open them together. We
did that one year for all of my extended family. Yeah. It was when my kids were younger and we were reading a lot of picture books. And so to involve the kids, we bought a picture book for everybody in my extended family, something that made us think of them. Because I'm a big believer in keeping picture books on your shelf, just kind of as an art piece, but also just there's so many themes that can be reflected in them. It was a really fun year. I had a really good time picking them out with the boys.
Cool.
Yeah.
So good Christmas ideas from the ladies here.
What about you? Do you put them on your list?
Absolutely. And I love getting them and love giving them. I've never done anything like that with my whole family.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. Have you heard of it's the people who Hygge. Yeah. I think it's that there's a popular, I guess, Scandinavian tradition that you get a book on Christmas Eve, because then you're supposed to kind of higa with it.
Mm-hmm.
You go to bed and you read all night, and it's
Good
this,
luck
I
then.
read that it's a tradition.
Christmas Eve,
actually,
they give
Christmas
books. Yeah,
Eve.
I think it's Sweden or Switzerland or something.
I would totally love that. That would
Yeah.
be so awesome.
Okay, what's your
Just
book?
like-
First book
Oh,
on your
well,
list?
the first one on my list I'm actually reading right now, and I'm loving it. It's called Ocean of Minutes by Thea Lim. It was shortlisted for the Giller Prize, which we've talked about prizes before and whether they're ones that you want to read or don't want to read, but I'm actually really loving it. Basically, maybe I'm loving it because it's a little bit post-apocalyptic, but
She is.
have you read this one?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's based around the concept that there is a flu that hits the world and people are dying and the cure is quite expensive. So if you can't afford the flu, there are other options. There is, you could work for the time traveling agency, ultimately to get benefits, health benefits, so that your family members can live, so to speak. However, what that means is that you get sent into the future and you have to work for them for however many years. I think it was 12 years for this one. And then you're fine and your family members get saved. So it follows basically this one couple, and the girlfriend is the one that gets sent up into the future, and they have this plan to meet up when they get to the future, but ultimately the future isn't what is expected.
Yeah, it's not what it's advertised.
Yeah, as most things. So it's kind of a love story. They're trying to find each other, but kind of a really neat concept. I also really like the fact that it starts in the flu and the time travel is in 1986. So it's not like the time travels in the future and then they go even more into the future. It's like 1986 and she travels into 1993. So alternate history, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
So I really like that one.
Cool. So the one that I'm getting for my sisters, actually, and I met Tasha Alexander this summer and fell in love with her and her writing. So this is a whole big long series about Lady Emily. A new one just came out. So this is the very first one. And I loved it, and I know my sisters will love it too because they are historical fiction fans as well.
And I don't want her to say too much because I want to borrow.
I'm
it
not
and
going
read
to say
it.
too much about it.
We don't want to ever ruin them for you.
No.
So we'll just kind of give
No.
you the concept of the books.
Are they romance or are they historical fiction?
They are.
Like if you were
A
in class,
mixture,
like where would you
actually.
shelve it in a bookstore or library? Like
It's a
if you-
mixture actually because
Okay, so
she
they'd
does
be
a
more
lot
fiction.
of research to get really good
I would put them in historical
history
fiction.
in there.
Okay, so they're not like right in the
Yeah.
romance. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that. I thought they were full on romance, but
Yeah.
that makes it even better.
Yeah,
honestly.
exactly.
She spends a lot of time making sure things are historically accurate.
Yeah.
Well, that's a rough job.
Yeah.
Darn.
But I'm gonna because I didn't talk very
From
much
the
about
history major.
Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't talk very much about that one. I want to talk about the Lost in September by Kathleen Winter.
Is that who wrote
She wrote Annabelle,
Annabelle?
which
Okay,
it was an excellent book if you've never read that one. That came out a couple years ago. This one was shortlisted for the Governor General's Literary Award.
Okay.
Fiction. Didn't win it, but it was shortlisted. And it's about a soldier who suffers from PTSD.
Oh.
And he looks a lot like, General James Wolfe, hero of
Okay.
Quebec, who died in the Plains of Abraham in 1759. And so there are some interesting history things going on in there, as well as possibly.
Sorry, excuse me, everybody.
I'm not
I
sure
haven't
if
heard
there's
this book.
time travel in there or if he's just lost in time. I'm not sure. Lost in September. So that one I am really excited to start reading because, like I said, I like the author and it sounded like a really interesting time frame. It was, the British Empire abandoned the Julian calendar and every citizen of England lost 11 days. So it was during that time. So it's I don't know. It sounded really, really interesting.
It does sound very interesting. I
So-
haven't heard of this. This sounds interesting because I
Yeah.
don't actually even quite get what is going on just from.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks good.
It's always nice when you can't predict it.
Yeah.
I do
What's
like
going
that.
on?
He's getting his 11 days back, but he's not.
But it's in
He's not.
because it
in
does
his
start.
time.
It's actually him, but then it
Mhm.
says he's getting his days back, but in present day Montreal.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
That looks
I
good.
don't know. She
I'd
was
read that.
excellent writer. So that's two of my faves. There.
Okay.
Excellent. We'll go back this way.
Yeah.
Poor Maya. She's gonna. I just get to go back and forth. I feel like tennis match here today.
Yeah.
I have a lot of. I know.
Well, number two,
I'm looking at
These
everybody's
ones aren't in
picks. I'm
She's just like
all-
waiting. You'll see them up on the screen. They're,
Yeah,
I don't know,
yeah.
they're here somewhere.
Yeah.
So my second one on my list is the People's History of the Vampire Uprising. And I guess
What?
the way I would describe this is it's not your typical vampire book. It's kind of a mixture between World War Z and The Martian. World War Z in the sense that it's a recounting. You know how World War Z had like
Oh yeah, it went backwards.
all of the kind of the news stories, and they kind of switched between people, and this
I'd forgotten
person
that part, but yeah.
was, you know, so it was like that. And then The Martian, because it had a lot of the scientific stuff.
Oh.
So basically there's a virus that comes that gives people it's not supernatural at all. It's all based on science. So it gives them this virus that makes them stronger. And so people are purposely infecting themselves with this virus. The problem is it means that they can only drink blood after.
I like all these different takes on vampirism.
Yeah.
There's
So
a
it's
Drew
not,
Barrymore
it has
show.
nothing to do with like biting someone and teeth and all
well,
that
and
kind
all
of
like
stuff.
macabre and dark.
Yeah,
and twisted
it's
and-
just they're everyday people. And so because people are affecting themselves, then it goes into a lot of social commentary that comes around it, where you have these people that now have this disability, which they've chosen. So they're trying to advocate for things like being able to vote at night because they can't go out during the day.
It sounds
And
interesting.
so
too.
it's all trying to change society for this
no.
new subsect of people that has come along, and then there's the fight between, but that was your choice, so why should we change everything for you? Yeah, it's really kind of really interesting.
That
so
sounds like a good pick. Well,
yeah.
and that sounds like a good one for a lot of people's lists. If it's like Martian science, because gosh, people love that book.
Yeah.
So if it's got that same cool
Yeah.
internal,
it's not
scientific
super
dialogue.
heavy science, because I know The Martian was sometimes a little bit too super heavy into the science, but it has enough of the medical kind of, it follows this one doctor that's trying to document and figure out how to
I wish it
cure
had a
it.
different title, because I feel like that's going to turn
Yeah.
off a lot of people that
Yeah.
are kind of
And the cover,
against fantasy or sci-fi, like
Yeah.
against that
They're
kind
like,
of supernatural.
so give it a try, because it's really cool. It's not supernatural, it's just kind of really
like this weird, different
take.
take.
Absolutely.
Okay, my second book is Cersei, and I'm not positive that I'm saying that right. So it's Circe. It's by Madeline Miller. It's the second book that Madeline Miller has written within sort of the same time period, but you do not have to read the first one. The first one is called Song of Achilles. Seems like a theme of the night, but it won, I think, the Orange Prize for Fiction when it came out. So Cersei is a new one. I really enjoyed it because it took those things that you learn about in school. I mean, this is why Percy Jackson's popular, because it's about a small character in sort of Greek mythology, Circe. She's a nymph and the daughter of Helios. And it takes her into all of these stories that we know, the Odyssey, the Minotaur, Icarus who flies too close to the sun, and tells them through her perspective. It brings in all of the gods and goddesses. Athena's in there, Helios is in there, Zeus is in there, Hermes is in there. Very readable, great female
I
character.
actually saw that and I was like, Maya needs to read this book.
It was really, I randomly picked it up.
Yeah.
Actually, it was an ebook because I read, and I was like, yeah, I've heard about this. I'll grab it, and really, really enjoyed it. I couldn't put it down. But like I said, so if you have a historical fiction lover in your family, it's a really readable way of going through these myths and these gods. You're like, oh yeah, I know that, but this is a way to come back to it.
Well, and a little bit different than like a historical fiction that most people read too, because it goes a little bit more into myths and legends and stuff.
Well, and I like that it's not from Zeus's point of view, or even like Athena or Apollo, or even from like Odysseus, or it's not like a straightforward telling of, the first one's the Trojan War and it's called the Song of Achilles, but it's from again, a minor character in that as well. And so you can kind of just see it through, it almost makes again, these stories feel like they could have really happened because you don't have this big hero at the forefront of it. You just have this random person working, or God, I mean, she's still a working behind the scenes. Anyways, really enjoyed it. Super readable for a lot of people, and I would highly recommend it as a good gift. It'd be a good one to cozy up with through the winter. Yeah, nice and thick, and
cool.
That's my
Well, you
second
might
one.
as well go again.
Okay, I'm gonna go into my third
one.
So this is
In
a
order?
multi-pick.
Are these in order? Mine aren't in order.
They're not in
Okay,
order.
Not in any
No.
order.
I
You
actually,
can't pick
these aren't
favorite
even like
books.
this
Can't do
is
it.
These aren't favorites necessarily, just ones you should buy for people or put on
yeah,
your
I was
Christmas
trying to
list.
think of lists that people like. What would so my third pick is a multi-pick. It is featuring
You can't
novellas.
just do everything right.
I'm
Ken.
not. I
You
know.
just gotta,
No.
Think
After this, I go really outside the box.
Think outside.
dear.
the box.
For my third pick, I'm recommending novellas because I have had so many people say to me, "I don't have time to read."
Yeah.
I don't have time to read. Now, if you don't like to read, that's fine. Like I'm trying to wrap my head around that lately. I was talking to someone about it.
If you don't like to read and you're watching Babes with Books, welcome. We love you.
Yeah, it's awesome. That's great. And this might be the pick for you, novellas. Now, one, I think it's amazing if an author can take a full story and put it in 100 pages or less. I forget what the exact definition of novella is, but I've really come around to this idea of, I used to scorn short stories and novellas. But to take this full idea and just put it in there, and then like the commitment is so light. Like you're like, oh, I'm done.
It's the same with
Look at
like
that, I'm
short
done.
stories or
Took me an
short
hour and a
story anthologies because
Yeah.
you just read like one short thing at a time.
So I have two to recommend for you. Ninendi Okafor, and she has a sci-fi series called Binti. Really out there, super different. It's about a young woman from a part of the galaxy world that is usually quite scorned, left out of things, and she goes on to a higher place of learning, and really, really interesting. The author's getting a lot of buzz right now. She's written a few things that have come out, and if you haven't read her, I highly recommend it. She is so smart in her writing. And again, J.Y. Yang has a Tensorit trilogy. They are set sort of, they seem like Chinese, Japanese, and they are about a pair of siblings and how they interact with this whole sort of fantastical world. The reason I loved those ones is the use of non-gender specific pronouns. I'm all about trying to push the boundaries in fiction right now, in literature, and even nonfiction. I'm loving that authors are embracing diversity, and I would love to support them.
Good way for those that are still trying to wrap their head around how to use non-gender specific.
Yeah, this one's only
pronouns.
like 100 pages, so you don't have to read like 600 pages of
Yeah.
it. But just a really interesting world too, of magic and choice and what you're doing, and this sort of evil mother and these twins that are born to magical worlds. So it's interesting and fun beyond that diversity thing. I just highly respect that author. But both those authors, I would definitely pick up anything that they've written, and probably devour it. So if you're looking for something, those are really great purchases for kind of anybody on your list.
Cool. Take a deep breath. We're not even halfway through yet.
feel
My
like I'm
third one.
Running a mile a minute.
We have really a hard time like after this because now our to be read piles that are already really long are even longer. We need to stop talking to each other ultimately.
I'm definitely doing the Tasha Alexander, and this one sounds super interesting. And People's History of the Vampire Uprising. And I'd read Ocean of Minutes. So there you go. All of them.
So my next one is a YA. Actually, it's kind of more juvenile than YA. And it's called Puddin.
Young adult, for people that don't know that, because if
Oh, yeah,
what's
sorry.
YA?
YA is young adult. So Puddin, it's a sequel to Dumplin', which came out in 2015. So Puddin came out just this year. And it follows, so the reason I like this one is because it follows a young girl who's struggling with the same things that young girls struggle with. Every young girl struggles with is, body image and popularity and all of those types of things. The first one is about a young girl the same girl who she is a bigger girl. And so she's struggling with body issues and she decides that she's going to join a pageant. So this is a follow-up to that. And every year she's gone to that camp. And that's what it's called in the book. So she goes to back camp, and this year she decides that she doesn't want to do that this summer. She wants to learn to dance. So again, something that you wouldn't typically see a girl, who is struggling with confidence and is maybe a bigger girl anyway, take part in. And she kind of goes through that. She makes a friend. They kind of become more frenemies than friends. But throughout the book, they kind of learn that they have more in common than they would have thought, which, again, it's a kind of a typical YA story, but I like the different types of characters.
Diversity in characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the picture of the person on the front isn't just this like super skinny. I feel like even YA novels, the heroines and stuff are always, perfect.
I struggle with that. I do read, I'm a sucker for like
Katniss
a YA
Everdeen
fantasy. And the description of them, I just feel like, like the most beautiful woman you've ever seen, or most beautiful girl. And like I just finished a series where it's quite like that. There's 4 main female characters, and they are all the most amazingly beautiful, stunning creatures that have ever walked this earth. And I just think, interesting.
And I just think that characters or people should, in any book, should be real people. And I'm,
You gotta write some flaws in.
There has to be some diversity, and there are definitely
a
a lot of beautiful teenage girls out there too, and they need books written about them and for them. But everyone that's in a young girl always struggles with am I pretty enough? Am I too fat? Am I it doesn't matter how fat you are. You always struggle with that. So I thought it was a really fresh take, and I would definitely recommend that one.
Nice.
Cool. Well, continuing the YA and the novella, since you
look at that. Look at
to mind.
It's like we meant to do that, but we didn't. We really didn't.
I have a YA too. I could recommend it.
So
it's one of my extras.
I work in a middle school, so I'm trying to read a lot more YA, so I can recommend. I have kids coming up to me. So give me a good book, and I'm like, okay, well, there's lots of those in here. Can you be more specific? So anyway. So I look online quite a bit and get lost in the huge rabbit hole that there is there of book reviews and such. But this one, speaking of diversity as well, it's called The Agency by Y.S. Lee. It's surprising, another historical fiction. Mary Quinn gets a reprieve from her criminal sentence in Victorian London when she is invited to join the Agency, an organization of women and girls who gather information for clients. So right away, heroines in the story. Yeah. And what's kind of neat about this one too is that this girl has a family history at that time of being mixed race. So that would be really, really interesting. So that one is on my list for sure. And one I'm thinking I'll get for the library and definitely recommend that to kids. I want to read that one first. Yeah. To see. But yeah, and then the novella that I don't know if you girls remember when we had Lana Mackey on here. She has a really fun novella called Quinn's Christmas List.
If you haven't watched that video, go back.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on our list.
That was a fun one.
It's called Quinn's Christmas List, and her website is up, and you can buy it from there. And it is a little bit of erotica, a little bit of fantasy. There's werewolves in there.
Warm you up in the winter
really
night.
Fun. And it's only about this big, so you'll be able to get it done in a couple of hours, and then you can go have a little with your hubby. So
dinner. We're talking about dinner.
Dinner, yes. Yeah, dinner.
Baking cookies.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. So those are 2 more recommendations for me.
Nice.
I feel like I should do 2 just because you guys get to keep doing 2. But
well, we don't talk as long as you do.
What?
I don't talk as long as you do.
Okay, well, maybe mine.
I
don't talk as long as you. There we go.
You're still talking.
Slow my voice down.
Okay.
So my next one is Adventure Zone by Clint McElroy. It is a graphic novel, and it's based on the popular podcast with the same name. And basically it follows a wizard, a dwarf, a cleric, and a human warrior. Those that are fans of Dungeons and Dragons will love this series. It has a snarky DM in the background that says all kinds of things and peeks over the pages. What? I'm not a snarky DM. Peeks over the pages and throws dice at the characters as they're in the little panes.
So I
and
saw
stuff
this
like
come
that.
into the library. It's good.
Yeah.
Like Hermes can read it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted again.
Yeah, and that's I
Okay.
was going to mention that actually, because so it's good for all ages too. So if you're an adult that likes D&D, you'll love it. If you're a kid or you're a juvenile, you'll love it too.
Okay, because
not...
it's shelved a bit older, so
Yeah.
I wondered. It looks like it's all cartoony and fun and stuff on the front, but I wondered. Okay.
I mean, like most things, there may be some more adult flavored jokes or young adult flavored jokes in there, but juveniles don't necessarily get that when they read it anyway. So
well, movie cartoon doesn't have that in it too,
yeah,
right?
people, you know, kids of all ages understand what they know. So
Okay, sounds good. Adventure Zone. That sounds like a good
I'm
one.
going to stop talking because Shauna says talk too much.
Oh, okay. Ready? My fourth pick. Again, outside the box. My fourth pick is Marvel Unlimited. So we bought a subscription to Marvel Unlimited this year. I think it's a monthly subscription. Maybe it's a yearly one. I didn't pay for it. My husband did.
Just keep having stuff coming.
I think it is like a monthly one, like Netflix.
Really?
I think it's like $8 a month. It is so fun, and I don't really love like superhero comics. I like a good graphic novel, like I like a good superhero movie. So lo and behold, I quite enjoy the superhero comics. It has all of the Marvel comics, all like available. They are really well organized on the app.
A month?
No, like you can read any of them, like any of the
It's a monthly
historical
subscription.
Marvel comics. I think it's like $8
It's
a month.
There's my Christmas list on.
e-reader, right?
Yeah, I read it on my iPad. All of us do.
Oh.
So we use it as a
Marvel
family.
Unlimited. Okay.
What I love about it
Right.
is it's organized really, really well. Some of those apps are not. And we've looked into a bunch of different subscriptions. We've looked into ways of getting comics because we love graphic novels and comics in our house. And sometimes I find them hard to get our hands on. So, well, as you are limited to Marvel on this one, it's still pretty awesome in that it's quite a huge selection. And like I said, so it's organized by date, but then it's also organized because you know how like superhero stories have jumped around, right? Like, but it's organized by storylines too. So like the new Spider-Man movie that's coming out for kids, or like the new animated one that's coming out, you can read the whole storyline of that. What is that one that's coming out? Have you guys seen it? The animated Spider one?
Yeah.
One where it's all
Yeah.
like they're
I
from
can't
different
remember what it's
universes
called.
and there's Spider-Pig. Anyways,
Yeah.
so you can read all of those like in the, not necessarily in the order that they're published, but in the way that the story makes sense. And you can do it for all of the characters. You can look it up in all different kinds of ways. You can download them. So if you are away
Does it
from
take
Wi-Fi,
into consideration?
I'm not sure because I haven't read the Age of Ultron series, but I think it does. You can read the Age of Ultron series. What was I saying? Oh, you can download them. So if you're not near Wi-Fi or something, you can download a certain amount of them. So you could, do it before you go on vacation or go on a long car ride or something like that. Really accessible, great selection for all of us in our household. And with the passing of Stan Lee, Marvel is pretty big right now. It's on a lot of, people's minds. And I really am surprised at how much I really like the Marvel Unlimited. There's storylines that I've never heard of, characters I haven't heard of. And it's a fun way to access them. Yeah.
Is it a family
Really, you know what else
subscription?
is really fun? Is that, like, so when you're reading them, you know how comic books have
Yeah.
different boxes? You double tap on the box and it zooms into that box. And then as you swipe, it just goes to the next box.
Oh,
So you don't have to look at the whole
That's
page.
nice.
Super readable for people.
Yeah, it's hard.
Wow.
I think I've done some graphic novels with like book clubs and stuff.
Yeah.
For people that aren't used to reading comic
Yeah.
books. And it is hard to even just get the concept of how you're supposed to understand.
But great on the
page.
eyes too.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to sit there in the dark and like read this whole tiny page.
Mhm.
And those print bubbles are small, so it zooms it in.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's family based, but we read it. We
Okay.
all
Again,
we all use it in our house, so I'm not sure. Like again, someone else in my
you
house.
can't really go by levels because every child is at a different level.
No, she asked if it was a family
No, family
subscription, like
subscription.
if everybody
I
can
see.
use
Yeah.
it. I'm not sure how that is set up. All I know is that 4 of us are using it. We haven't encountered any problems yet. So yeah, I would really, if you have any comic lovers, Marvel's huge with people
My
nowadays,
friend's
right? With
wedding
the
cake
movies
had-
and such.
was Marvel.
Yeah,
So,
it's a great.
yeah.
And I think, with Christmas gifts and books, like if you're looking at a hardcover, it's $40. That's 4 months of this Marvel, and you
Wow.
won't be anywhere near like reading
Mhm.
even a portion of what's on there. So yeah,
Very cool.
Marvel Unlimited.
Cool.
Very cool.
Look, take a look.
What's your last pick?
My last pick. I keep laughing because Leslie's like, of course you'd go outside the box. But here it is. My last pick pick is not a book. It is a book light.
The
So-
other one wasn't really either.
I know, right? I know. I was trying to like shake it up. You know, I could have recommended. I read like I
Subscriptions
read
for
a lot of
Christmas.
books. I could have. Book light. So we have gone through a book light situation over and over again in our house. We've tried the headlamps. Not super comfortable. The elastic slides off. You got to tighten and retighten for whoever's wearing it. We've done that. We've done the book lights that you clip on your book. One, a lot of them that we've been through are battery. Never buy them with the watch batteries. At least look for the ones that come with AAA or AA books.
Easier to...
But we've had some problem with how heavy they are. If you're reading like a soft cover book and you're holding it in a certain way, they kind of sag the back cover. Someone else freaks out if they're near the end of the book, and then you have to clip it on to like the last few pages in my house.
Could this be your husband?
No, it's my son.
Oh.
He's like, I can't read the last pages that's clipped on there. So like we go through book lights. We've had a number of them go through. So I found one. It's on Amazon. It's a U-shaped book light. I meant to bring it. Sorry. It's U-shaped, and there's lights on either end. And they have 3 different brightness levels, both of them. So, and then it sits on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
So it goes around the back of your neck, and the lights go right here, shine nicely onto the pages because you have one on kind of either page. And this is it's rechargeable with a
USB?
sure.
Like you plug in like
Yeah, you plug in like my cell phone charger. Whatever. What are those called? Yeah. So you do not have to have batteries. You just charge it and it lasts about a week. A week of reading every night for 30 minutes, 45 minutes kind of thing. And then you charge it for a day, and then it's ready to go. It's got a charging like indicator light. Like I said, the lights go right at both pages. And that is my big book lover recommendation is the book light, the U-shaped book light on Amazon. We'll make sure we put up a link in the description. But because you're not always going to, and because you don't want to buy like 18 books for people, so you can buy them a book and a book light and a subscription to Marvel Unlimited. So I had your whole list covered.
Because she's got all the best stuff.
Yeah.
I will say.
All right.
That's my last pick.
My last pick is called Jefferson's Daughters by Kathleen Kerrison. And it is a nonfiction, actually. And it would be great for anybody that likes biographies. It's a triple biography. It follows 3 of Jefferson's daughters. Well, all 3 of Jefferson's daughters. 2 of them are white and free. The other one is black and a slave. So the author found some letters and some journals from the daughters that have never been published before. And so that's what she's using as a basis for writing these 3 biographies. And so,
People always love Jefferson's story with Sally.
Yeah, it's just a really neat kind of look at that time frame through the lens of the daughters rather than looking through the lens of Jefferson himself.
Yeah.
That's my last one.
All right.
What's your last one?
Well, I have a book that I'm going to be reading this winter, but something that I do actually read a lot of is nonfiction. I haven't read as much as I used to, so I have a lot of recommendations along those lines, Big Magic and those kinds of ones. But this one was recommended to me from one of my friends called When the Body Says No, and cost of
book. I feel like a lot of people could benefit from reading that book.
Yeah, and my husband and I talk about it a lot, that the whole, how you internalize that stress becomes actual pain and actual illness in your body. So
I have a girlfriend that I want to buy that book for right now.
Yeah, it's so true. So anyway, I was recommended that this wasn't actually as dry as it sounds, that he's actually pretty funny. So this is my winter break reading this one, and I for sure if you need something for that person that's really hard to buy for, there are a lot of really great nonfiction books that are out there. You know, don't buy it with the thing that you're going to cure them.
No,
but they're
they get a lot of buzz right now too, though. Like that Rachel Hollis is huge. What's that? Girl, Wash Your Hair. She has a second one coming out.
Yeah, that one.
There's like
Jennifer
3
Lawrence ones. About depression.
Mm-hmm. There's like 3 female comedians that release books too, and I've seen them written up a lot of places.
Girl with the lower back tattoo is that.
Yeah, but there's 3 new ones. Yeah. Busy Phillips put one out, and then 2 others. I just read a big article featuring these 3 books. But there's some good nonfiction out there. But sometimes you gotta get a nonfiction that you actually need too, though. Right? Sometimes I feel like those those girly ones are just, I don't really know what they're doing actually. What are they doing? They're just women like reaffirming other women's.
We know about your biography.
I love to though. This seems like it's about something real. Like,
Yeah.
hang on a second.
It's
You're
actually a
struggling in
doctor.
life. Here
It's
you
actually
go.
a
Like,
doctor. Yeah.
hang on. Have you thought about this?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
It's yeah. So
Awesome. Well, that seems like a really good list of books. I hope that everybody got something out of that. We will have a list down below. What are we doing next month?
next month, since it's gonna be snowy and cold where we are going to curl up with something cozy. Now, I first thought of cozy mysteries. I'm not sure I can go all the way to something like this, but this is technically what they classify as a cozy mystery. Frequently, they involve knitting, tea, cats, something along those lines.
Knitting, tea, and cats. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, either one or all of those
Just
three.
really light, cozy.
Yeah, so we're looking to give you something light and fun to get you through that January cold. So we're going to recommend that to you. Or January, February cold. So we're looking to recommend a fun winter cozy read where you just want to put on your warm socks and a blanket and sink down on into it. So
Yeah.
that is next time that we're with you, something cozy. And let us know if you need any other picks on the video. Comment below if you have someone hard to buy for. We can definitely try to.
Or tell us what you would put on people's Christmas lists and what books
Well, I'm
you're
not
buying
sure.
for people
Yeah,
this year.
well, yeah, sure do that, but that's gonna make my list bigger. But
Do it. See how big. We'll actually, if you comment with a comment of a book that we should read, we'll let you know in our next video if we've read it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
See ya.